This episode of CST is brought to you by our newest patron, Rebecca, who went over to patreon.com/CST and said thank you to us. All right, so, you taping?
Not hot. Sea lion, sunbathing.
Hello, Catherine.
Hello, Mac.
How art thou today, this fine morn? Hey, you know what's great?
I'm getting there.
You know what's great? Birds. It's springtime in South Georgia, and the bird song
is incessant and annoying.
The only thing better than the incessantness of it is how it changes.
Well, and it's constant. It's been constant since we sat down. I really want you to just take the BB gun and not kill any birds.
Just do some scaring.
Just go disturb them.
You disturb me.
It may
baby.
not be a bad idea now that I think about it.
Well, we've started the show now. There's nothing for it.
Yeah, we can't stop the show.
They're just going to listen to the incessantness. Now that we've said something about it, they're not going to be able to take their minds off of it.
It's really true, actually.
The word unblow-upable is thrown around a lot these days, but I think I can say with confidence. Okay, that shows you what could potentially happen.
What hasn't happened this week
Well,
in our small town?
well, I don't know. I got nothing. I was trying to give myself a minute.
So I turned 41 on Wednesday.
Yeah, you said 21 during the thing. Did you realize that?
No.
Yes, during the happening.
During the intro?
During the intro, you said I turned 21.
No.
Yes, you did.
No.
Yes,
you heard it wrong.
did.
That's
No, I
your
didn't.
wishful thinking.
That's what you said.
You're married to a 21-year-old. Boy, that'd be a train wreck, wouldn't it?
No,
You would
thank
have no patience for that 21-year-old at all.
I don't know how people do that. You just want to punch them in the face all the time.
With the love of Jesus,
With
of
the
course.
love of Jesus, of course.
All right, so I turned 41. It's a pretty low-key birthday. It was nice, though. I snuck off from work a little early.
You did?
I left at 2 o'clock instead of the normal 3:30. And came home and cleaned toilets. And I tried to take a nap, and that didn't work out. And did some honeydew projects, and then had a relaxing evening. Oh, we had dinner. We had a date night. That was wonderful.
It was wonderful.
Because we shipped the boys off to your dad's, and they rented Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 1.
That's right.
In preparation for our viewing of the second volume this weekend, and then we cooked steaks.
We did. They were really good. We had steaks and what else? Squash and zucchini. Potatoes. And salad? No.
You opened a bottle of wine.
I opened a bottle of wine.
And by the end of dinner, I had a new bottle of scotch.
Yes, you did. Which you were not expecting,
As
which
my
is
birthday
always
present.
more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great. It was great. And I haven't dipped into it too much since then. Today's Sunday. I did have a snifter of it on Friday, I think.
So it's a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
12-year-old Glenlivet.
The Glenlivet. So it's a lot nicer than what I'm used to. So I almost feel guilty every time I open the bottle. But
that's the way you should
I'm not
feel.
going to let that get in the way.
That's really the purpose of my guilt. I mean, my guilt. The purpose of my gift was so that every time you see the bottle, you feel just a little bit guilty.
Awesome. That's
Think
wonderful.
of me and feel guilty. Oh, Catherine.
You know what?
Wait, no,
Listen,
no,
I've been
no,
feeling that
no,
way
no,
for
no.
years.
That Catherine, she's so good to me. I don't deserve her. Oh, man.
Lord, thank you so much. Thank you, Lord, so much. All right, so I had my birthday. We've been doing lots of honeydew stuff around the house.
We are anticipating putting the house on the market. And so it is remarkable. It is remarkable. And because I'm going to remark on it. That's how remarkable it is. How much stuff one family can accumulate.
I'm going to warn you, gentle listener, or viewer, if you're watching this happening segment on YouTube. 1, get rid of the birds in your backyard. 2, don't look too closely at anything in your home. Not the walls, not the baseboards, not anything. Basically, just put on dark sunglasses when you're walking through your house. You'll be much happier. You won't lay awake at night going, how am I going to clean that?
Well, and it's not just that. It's all these little things that, we redid our house and pretty much almost the whole house got repainted about 6 years ago on the inside. And so it's been 6 years and 4 boys and 4 dogs and various other animals. And
4 dogs?
Bella, Spartacus, 6 years ago.
Gus,
no,
and Max.
Gus and Max and the
little puppy visitor.
little puppy visitor. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've had, just traffic and kids and life. You're just living your life. Mm-hmm. And so the upstairs rooms have not been painted since then. And we had some leaks in our our roof.
The roof that we should have had replaced
when we redid the upstairs.
Yeah, we finally did. And now a lot of the corners of the...
in the attic space.
Well, it was the attic space. It's
right.
now the finished upstairs. But
right.
the drywall, the corners of the drywall, not the inverted corners, but the corners that poke out. Because we have some weird angles because it was an attic space. A lot of those, like the tape is crinkled back on it, and I got to peel the tape off. I'm going to have to remud it.
They were all like slow leaks. And so, now it's all fixed. We have a brand new roof. But, the roof is fixed. So the leaks aren't still there, but... if you're a buyer coming into a house and you start looking around like, oh, water damage, water damage.
Pressure washed a lot of the outside of the house and the eaves and the concrete out front.
Oh, the concrete looks really good.
It's like bright and shiny.
Yeah.
And now, thank goodness, though, the pecan trees have started dropping those little worms.
Okay, so we talked about this a few weeks ago. So first you have the magnolia tree, which sheds its leaves this time of year. We actually have 2. It's the magnolia tree, and there's one other tree like in the backyard. I don't even know what kind of tree it is, but it sheds its leaves too.
Don't forget the dogwood blossoms. They're gone now.
Yeah.
But a couple weeks ago...
there were dogwood blossoms everywhere. Yeah. And now the pecan trees have these little...
the worms. Little worms.
They're little worm-looking things, like this long, and they get on...
and they stain.
Everything, yes.
Like this week, it was so frustrating. Mm-hmm. Like last Monday... or Tuesday.
You power washed.
Tuesday, I power washed everything. And then, like, literally the day after, the pecan trees started dropping those things, and they stain everything they touch.
Well, because it rains. So they fall, and then it rains, and then they stain everything. So...
that's what the birds are yapping about right now.
I guess selling a house, unless you're not living in it. If you're not living in it, you can kind of fix these things, and nothing gets undone. Mm-hmm. But if you're living in the house, trying to sell a house, it's just an exercise in frustration. It has to be, because every time you clean something up, your kids turn around and make a mess again. Or just as soon as you move this piece of furniture to this room, it's really haven't fixed anything.
Walmart sells these big packages of magic erasers. Those are my best friend right now. I've been scouring the walls with magic eraser. And the upstairs shower, because it has all these calcium stains.
Calcium deposits in the corners.
Yeah. Oh, man, those are tough. You got to
scrub those
elbow grease. Yeah.
So there's just a lot to do, and you just don't know how much of your time and effort to put in.
Right.
Because you don't know because of the area that we live in. If we lived in a different area, you would know exactly what your house needed to look like.
You know what I was thinking today when I was looking at, just random stuff in the like our bathroom. Mm-hmm. I was thinking, like, how much of that, like, you got to do a balance here, some sort of metric to figure out the right buyer, because the right buyer sees that as an incentive. Like, they can't wait to get in there and fix a dozen tiny, tiny little things.
Which buyer is that? Know that buyer. What's funny is we are that kind of buyer. Like, we would look at a house like that, and as long as we knew, like, the roof was sound, we would go, yeah, I can live in a house. Like, I don't need my house to be perfect, because I didn't buy a perfect van when I bought my van.
Well, anybody that's going to buy this thing, this is almost 100 years old. They need to know that everything's not going to be perfect.
The corners don't fit right.
If you're looking to buy our house right now, let me tell you, it's a great house. It's got good bones, as they say.
It doesn't just have good bones anymore. We've done so many things. So, like, it's frustrating to know we did this and this and this and this that are all these great upgrades that I tried to stay as true to the sort of the history of the house as I could when I remodeled. But yet we've got all these little things that need fixing that then that's what some buyers are only going to see, are these things that need fixing, and they may want to, like, take. Well, okay, fine, we'll offer, but we're gonna take $20,000 or $30,000 off the asking price. I'm like, you can't do that. So
Okay. Well, else in the news.
Wait, as you can tell, it is a frustrating experience. I am trying on a daily basis not to drive my family crazy, even though I'm sure I'm going to continue to do some of that. I'm having to, and I told my boys, I'm like, I'm having to keep blinders on as I'm going around the house, because if I look at everything, it starts to want to hyperventilate because of all that needs to be done. So I'm just trying to focus on one task at a time. Let's make this decision today.
Let's keep filling up the dining room.
Let's keep filling up the dining room until Matt
Boxes and random pieces of furniture.
until Matt can get in there and clean it up.
Tristan came home yesterday. He's done with this semester of college, and 1 week he's going to head out to Yellowstone
He is in a week
for the summer.
That's crazy.
It's very exciting.
It is very exciting.
It has turned cold again
It's
in South Georgia.
weird.
It's very strange and wonderful.
I did have one person say, with no guile, is I'm pretty sure this is the end of days, because the spring can't tell, or the weather can't tell if it's winter or fall or winter or spring. Anyway, we just hardly ever get this kind of weather this late in the spring. And so the other night we had to turn the heater back on. All of our winter clothes are put away. We're like trying to dig through our closets, just layering, because it's just cold.
Yeah. It's wonderful. I mean, we love it. In fact, yesterday was the Pine Tree Festival here in Swainsboro, and it's like the 50, maybe the 50th. Somewhere around the number 50.
No,
How many times
no,
they've had
no,
it?
no.
73rd?
Yes.
73rd.
My
That's
dad
close to
was like
50.
a baby when it started.
And so we go uptown and we see the parade, the first parade that we've actually been able to watch in
a
years
while,
and years that I haven't participated in because of the Scouts. And so that was great. And there's lots going on uptown, and there's a car show, and there's areas for the kids, and there's vendors with terrible overpriced food. And
Well, they used to have everything out at the rec department, and what they finally figured out is just use uptown. Like, everybody's already there.
just close down uptown.
Just close down the uptown, and I think that's actually worked out really well. Like, you just kind of barricade the
It's
different
less
streets.
of a fairgrounds now. Like at the rec department, they kind of turned the rec department into like a fairgrounds.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
But but everything's right there. So the parade's over and people just sort of go to the
Meander.
different events. And it's actually, I got to give props. The Chamber of Commerce, I think, took over from the Kiwanis Club a few years ago. And I think you got some people that really have had some really good vision. And I think they've done a really good job.
They have, and going to an event like that, you look around and it's so bittersweet, because at the parade, you're watching the church floats go by, and you're watching the fire trucks go by, and like half the people on there, or their kids, and you run into 10 or 15 different families throughout the course of meandering around up there that you're involved in their life or they're in yours somehow, and people catch up on old times. And
I had some family members, like some cousins, that actually had treated in the ER, and then I was able to see them up at the parade and say, oh, okay, hey, how are you doing? And they were able to say, thank you so much. It was so good to have you there in the ER when we were sick.
And there's just the knowing that you're about to leave this, and you're not going to have this anymore. And I'm sure this exists in other places.
It's not the same, though.
No. Now, the flip side of that is right after the parade, 2 of my children disappeared, and you took Max back to the house, and I took one child over to get food. So then I've got the situation where I'm separated from, and there's another friend that's with the 2 missing children. So I'm trying to manage that, and I'm in the middle of what we call the boneyard, which is where all the vendors were, and all of town was there. So super crowded.
There's this really pretty red-headed woodpecker. Can you see him on the dogwood right out by the road? Turn your head this way.
No, but I'm trying to do
I
a
know,
show
but
right
it's
now.
so cool,
That's
though.
great.
He's
Our
so
audience
pretty.
doesn't care.
Yes, they do.
So anyway,
The prettiest woodpecker.
so all I can think about is, I don't like crowds. I'm uncomfortable now. This is, okay, I could never do this again and be perfectly happy. And you walk over 2 streets and you go, oh, this is great. I love this again.
Well, I think you just have to recognize when you've reached your pivot point. So there's some point at which you're comfortable and this is fun, and then, okay, crowds have gone crazy and I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, so that was Pine Tree Festival. I went and interviewed for a job. We didn't even put this down.
Yeah, nobody cares.
People care.
Just kidding. I'm so happy for you. Oh.
So I
Spoiler.
went on Monday. Colby and I drove up Monday night and stayed overnight near where the interview was going to take place. I, Catherine Smith Barron, got up at 7 o'clock in the morning. The interview was not till 9, and it was only 4 minutes away from the hotel. I got up at 7 o'clock in the morning, got dressed, went to the lobby, had a cup of coffee, went and, changed into my scrubs, and went over to the interview place. I was there like 15 minutes early and just took a walk for like 10 minutes. It was a beautiful day. Just walked around, had a good time. And then finally went back to the lobby, sat down, waited on the people to get there for the interview. Had the interview, which felt more like just an informational session. It was very weird. I was a little nervous, but it was interesting. So it was more like this is what we expect of you. Do you have any questions of us? Because what I was interviewing for is the ER float pool for children's healthcare at Atlanta. And so it's basically children's healthcare has 3 different hospitals: Eggleston, Scottish Rite, and Hughes Spalding. And so if you're in the ER float pool, that means that you can work at any one of those 3. And you are in the PRN pool, which means you basically, they do the schedule with their full-time nurses. You go online and look up and see what's available, and you pick out however many days you want, or there's requirements that you have to do. And so after that, we drove over to Scottish Rite, and I just shadowed a nurse in the ER for a couple of hours. I was very excited. It's big. It's a big ER, but it doesn't feel that way because of the way it's sort of broken up into pods. And I could just tell right away I was going to be...
You're going to be happy there.
I was going to be happy there.
That's great.
The drive from where we'll be living is a good 45 minutes, if not more. But I would probably only, I might do that 2 or 3 days a week. So it's not like it's a Monday through Friday thing. And so took a couple of days, but on Thursday, I think I was walking the dog and got the phone call that I had gotten the job. So I start July 17th at my job, which really puts a hard deadline on us. We knew Mac had to start July 25th. The way they do their orientation stuff, it's like every 2 weeks. So if I didn't start July 17th, I wouldn't have been able to start till like sometime in August, and that was too late. So basically, we have to get moved and all that stuff dealt with by mid-July. Basically, while you're at scout camp, I have to be finalizing our plans to move.
Yeah. Our listeners need to pray for us to find somebody to go to scout camp for me instead.
Or to buy our house in like 2 weeks. Then we could get the house taken care of before scout camp, and, then we'll have that all dealt with. So,
How about that?
No big deal.
Cool. The last thing is Dad went into the hospital again just a couple of days ago and was O2 levels dropped way down and was disoriented and really, really short of breath and all that good stuff. And Mom actually told me, she said, I thought this was it. But turns out they think now that it was mostly a medication issue. I mean, there's junk going wrong with his body.
I was going to say, it's not just that.
Right, but the critical nature of that moment was compounded by these different medications. And so they think they've straightened out the medications, and they're probably going to send him home in a couple of days. And he's feeling much better. I spoke to him on the phone last night, and so...
Things are looking better today than they were Friday. Friday was a rough day. Yeah. Especially for Miss Regina.
So your prayers for both of them are really appreciated. We thank you ahead of time for that.
Yes.
That is the end of the happening segment, and if you'd like to watch the whole show, please, listen to the whole show, please do so. You can go over
Feedback at Catholic... No, that's not right. Wait a second.
You go
what part are we on now?
MacandCatherine.com. You go to
CatholicInASmallTown.com.
CatholicInASmallTown.com.
Over to iTunes. Look us up on iTunes. You can listen to the whole show. We talk about our entertainment, what we've been watching. You'll get to hear our completely spoiled review of Guardians of the Galaxy on another show that we do as well.